Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Celebrity Watch Gist, the only channel where the tea is always hot, the receipts are always ready, and the drama? Oh, honey, the drama never sleeps. Now, before we get into today's story, I need you to brace yourself, because what we are about to unpack is the kind of Hollywood shade that does not come with a warning label. We are talking about a man quietly picking up an eraser, walking over to the chapter of his life titled Meghan, and just gone. Deleted. Wiped clean like it never happened. And the man doing the erasing? None other than Patrick J. Adams, former Suits co-star, former best friend, former ally. Emphasis on the word former. Because apparently, when it comes to Meghan Markle, former is the only direction the friendship train is heading. Quick favor, if you are loving this already, hit that subscribe button right now. Over 92% of viewers have not subscribed yet, and it is free. Takes a second and means the world to us. Thanks. If you did, you are already one of the smart ones. Now, back to the show. So here's where the story begins. Patrick J. Adams, best known for playing Mike Ross on the hit USA Network drama Suits, shared the screen with Meghan Markle for 7 full seasons. 7! That is 7 years of long shooting days, shared green rooms, co-star chemistry, and what most fans assumed was a genuine, rock-solid friendship. And for a while, all the signs pointed in that direction. Patrick showed up for Meghan publicly. He defended her. He clapped back at critics on her behalf on social media. The man was practically wearing a Team Meghan jersey. So imagine the collective jaw drop heard around the internet when fans discovered that Patrick had quietly, almost surgically, scrubbed every mention of Meghan from his public biography and social media presence. No announcement, no dramatic post, no explanation, just poof, gone, like she was never there. Now, let us talk about why this matters, because some of you might be thinking, it's just a bio update, calm down. Oh, no. In celebrity culture, a bio update is never just a bio update. A bio is a carefully curated, intentional statement of identity. It's the first thing people see. It's what you choose to be associated with. So when someone who spent years publicly championing Meghan Markle decides to quietly remove her name from his professional identity, that's not an accident. That is a message delivered in total silence. And sometimes the quietest moves make the loudest statements. Here's where it gets really interesting. Patrick wasn't some casual acquaintance of Meghan's. This was the man who, back when the British tabloids were tearing Meghan apart, took to Twitter and wrote a lengthy, passionate defense of her. He called the media coverage unfair. He called out the racism. He stood firmly in her corner at a time when a lot of people were running in the opposite direction. That takes guts, or at the very least, it takes a very strong personal loyalty. So the question that absolutely no one can stop asking is, what changed? What happened between then and now that would make a man who once went to bat for you publicly decide to erase you from his story entirely? And this is where the Meghan pattern becomes impossible to ignore, because Patrick is not the first person to pull this move. He is not even close. Let us run through the roster real quick, because there are receipts and they are stacked. Samantha Cohen, her former royal communications secretary, gone. Jessica Mulrooney, her supposed best friend and self-described confidant, estranged and publicly humiliated. The British royal staff who reportedly found her management style deeply difficult. Her own father, Thomas Markle, publicly discarded on a world stage. Her half-sister, her former friends from the Suits cast who have gone conspicuously quiet. And now, Patrick J. Adams completing the circle by not just going quiet, but actively cleaning house. At some point, when the list of people who have distanced themselves from someone gets this long, it stops being a series of individual incidents and starts looking like a pattern, a very clear, very consistent pattern. Now, to be completely fair, and we are always fair here at Celebrity Watch Gist, Patrick has not made any public statements explaining the bio removal. He has not gone on a press tour calling Meghan out. He has been silent.
And that silence is fascinating in its own right, because silence, when it replaces years of vocal public support, is its own kind of testimony. You do not erase someone from your professional identity because you simply forgot to include them. You do it because, for whatever reason, you no longer want that association front and center. Period. Let us also talk about the timing of this, because timing in Hollywood is everything. This comes in the middle of a period where Meghan and Harry's public image has been, to put it generously, complicated. The Oprah interview, the Netflix docuseries, the memoir, the endless commentary, the Sussex brand machine churning out controversy. It has been a lot. And more importantly, it has forced a lot of people who were once quietly supportive to make a choice. Do you want to stay close to this orbit, or do you quietly step back? Patrick, it appears, has made his choice, and he made it with the precision of someone who has thought about it very carefully. Here is the analogy that puts it perfectly. Imagine you had a coworker who you genuinely liked and you vouched for them publicly when they were getting unfair criticism. You put your reputation on the line for them. But then, over time, you start seeing a different side of things. Maybe they burned bridges you did not expect. Maybe you started hearing stories that made you reconsider. Maybe you just watched the chaos from a distance and decided, quietly, that your name does not need to be next to theirs anymore. You do not make a scene, you do not call a press conference, you just update your bio. That's exactly what Patrick did, and that quiet, deliberate move speaks volumes. What makes the story so delicious, and yes, I said delicious, is the fact that Suits is experiencing a massive comeback right now. The show's revival and its Netflix streaming surge brought it back into the cultural conversation in a massive way, which means Patrick J. Adams is relevant again in a way that gives him absolutely no incentive to distance himself from anything Suits related unless he really, truly wants to. Yet, Meghan, the Suits connection that arguably generated the most press, is the one he chose to remove. The irony is almost too perfect. The show that made her famous is thriving again, and the co-star who once defended her loudest is the one quietly closing the door. Look, we can't get inside Patrick J. Adams' head. We don't know every detail of what happened between them privately. What we do know is what we can see. And what we can see is a man who once made his support for Meghan very, very public, choosing to make his distance just as public, just without the noise. And in a world where everyone is shouting their opinions from every platform, sometimes the most powerful move is the quiet one, the one where you just disappear from someone's story, or in this case, make them disappear from yours. The Duchess of Sussex has had no shortage of defenders over the years, but defenders have a shelf life, apparently. And when people who once stood loudly in your corner start tiptoeing quietly toward the exit, not just one of them, but many of them, it raises a question that is becoming harder and harder to dismiss. Is Meghan Markle a woman who has been persistently misunderstood and unfairly targeted? Or is there something in the way she operates that consistently pushes even her closest allies toward the door? Patrick J. Adams did not say a word, but his bio update said everything. That is the story for today, and what a story it is. Thank you so much for watching. You all are the absolute best, and we genuinely appreciate every single one of you showing up and keeping the conversation going. We'll see you in the next one.